This is the home of the Cox family. Husband Jonas works for a software company. His wife is in publishing. After the birth of their first child, Jonas's wife stayed at home for a year. Without a second income, the family nearly went through all their savings. A few months later, Jonas lost his job. Although he was only unemployed for 4 months, the family savings are gone, and they are now deeply in debt.
We tend not to talk about our financial lives. We tend to keep it pretty private. Both my wife and I think, have been that way. Even in my family.
Like the Cox family, 3/4 of all Americans are so out of pocket that their monthly income is not enough to maintain their debts, let alone feeding their family and putting a roof over their heads.
My wife and I earn about $120,000 a year. I don't think I spend money frivolously. I'm getting down to really the daily routine. I make lunch for myself every day. I never buy lunches. We very rarely go to restaurants to eat out. I go a long time without buying clothes, maybe more so than I would like to.
The middle class is defined as people who have a set of aspirations. Those aspirations being, I want to own my own house. I want to live in a safe neighborhood with good schools. I want to be able to put away a little bit of money for taking a modest vacation every year. I want to have health insurance. I want to be able to save a little for retirement. I want to be able to send my kids to college. Those sorts of things that make up what I would call the middle class basket.
Traveling north from Boston is a bleak journey through the old industrial towns of New England. Their heyday has long since passed. Textile manufacturing was outsourced many years ago to third world countries offering cheaper labor. Vermont, near the Canadian border, has always been a popular tourist spot. Its many ski resorts and stable weather conditions have made it famous for its winter sports. Yet on a day like today, a clear day with plenty of snow, the slopes are almost empty. Within the villages of Vermont, you can still find the old American spirit. Neighbors trust each other, front doors always stay unlocked. Here you find people that still treasure the original pioneering ideals. Hard-working yet wayward free thinkers. People that want to live in harmony with nature and are conscious of their environment. 6 years ago, George Schenk and his wife went into the forest and cut down some trees from which they built this log cabin and made it their home. Even for frugal people like the Schenks, times have been better.
I got some greens and a bunch of basil, and I got a chicken from Hadley.
There are no promises about the future. You can plan and hope for the kind of economic future you dream of, but that may not happen.
The Schenks have been producing American flatbread for over 30 years.
A classic artisanal bread. This is our homemade organic tomato sauce.
The couple own a restaurant. They have franchises in other American towns and also own a range of frozen food.
Vermont mozzarella cheese.
They also deliver their flatbread to schools and prisons. They were doing well and were hoping to retire soon, but along came the credit crunch and crunched their retirement plans with it.
I'm feeling a little squeezed. I feel that I'm getting to the age where when I grew up, my parents were retiring when they were, let's not talk about that age, but they were retiring in their 60s, and from where I'm sitting, I don't see the end of my work.
The couple had to use their pension funds in order to send their children to university. It is a tough decision to make between the children's education and retirement funds, yet it is one that many average American families simply have to make these days. But George doesn't want to complain, and the last thing he wants is pity. He maintains that even when times are tough, you still have to focus on the positive effects.
One of the things that's been fascinating about the recession, which we seem to be coming out of, is that it created a pause for a lot of people to reevaluate. Are they doing the things that really matter in their lives? Do they really need or want the things that they thought were so important? You know, one of the things I think that we, as a takeaway here, is that you can feel richer if you want less.